Good morning, everyone. Very welcome to the Bolin Days. I'm speaking into this microphone because we are streaming it. It's not for you to hear me better, so this is just a small piece of information. My name is Nina Kirchner. I would really like to welcome you to the Bolin Days. We had a great start yesterday with the Bolin Climate Lecture that was given by Maureen Raymer. We had a science seminar in the morning and then the public lecture in Aula Magna in the afternoon, which was really a success. And now we continue with our traditional Bolin Days. I would especially like to welcome our ESAC members. I see Karen and Øystein, and I do not see Camille and Ray, but they should be here also, right? So welcome to the ESAC members. A very warm welcome also to our research area leaders who have done a fantastic job in putting the program together. And I would also like to welcome all members and guests of the Bolin Center. So we are here now for 2 days to celebrate climate science. We have a super interesting program. We have tried to break up the silos, if you wish, the silos of the research areas. There was a suggestion made by the ESAC earlier. So we have just put people together and said, do something across your research area so that we get more interaction between the individual research areas. And I think the program looks really exciting. We will start today with a session on, let's say, the core center activities. It's a rather short session, 1 hour, and then we dig into the science sessions. We have a poster presentation and a PICO poster presentation, especially for PhD students. They can get an award. That means money for the best poster. Tomorrow we have a session where we even go beyond our silos. We have a presentation that is a session that is titled Climate Science in the Humanities. That is a result of the integration that we started in 2018 on Valentine's Day, and this is why we informally call it the Valentine's Workshop, where we met the humanities. And we have a session on that tomorrow. We also have a session on greener expeditions tomorrow in the afternoon, and we have a beautiful photo exhibition outside, which you're all most welcome to look at and mingle there. We will, towards the end of tomorrow, we will conclude with a special session on funding and communication, and then there will of course be the dinner. There will be live music, there will be dancing, but there will not be any traditional costumes from Annika's or my side, so I can say this right away. So that will not happen this year. We do this every 10 years, so maybe in 9 years' time. On Friday, for most of you, the Bolin Days are over. We will meet with the ESAC on Friday. We have also 2 ESAC members who will be talking at Mynttorget and give speeches there, talks to the public audience, and then we'll conclude with the board meeting, so that is the whole Bolin week. We also, I just saw it outside, we have completed the report for 2018. This is outside. It's also available as a PDF, but if you want to grab a printed version, it is outside for you. Then Annika reminded me that this room may become a little bit crowded. We have an extra room where you can sit and watch everything because it's streamed. It is also possible to ask questions from the other room. So if more people come in, they will just join in the other room if we're running out of seats here. I think, have I forgotten anything? No? Okay. Thank you very much. Then I declare these Bolin Days open. I hand over to, let me see, now I get confused here, to Anders, right? Talking about the database. Yes. And you will need a microphone. Okay. Yes? It's here. I can help you with that. So very welcome, everyone, and enjoy.
Utan långt, ingen lång tår, inga örhängen och vad det var.
Nej. Det går bra. Sen kan du justera här. Jag tror det kan...
Okej. Sen kan man ta den där i fickan där, så.
And if there are questions in the end, we need to pass around this microphone so that even those who listen from home or wherever on the screens can hear the questions asked. So we'll pass this around.
Men jag behöver inte den. Nej, jag hörde. Okay. So, good morning everybody. My name is Anders Moberg. I work as a university lecturer at the Department of Physical Geography. I am coordinator of the Bolin Centr database, and this I work on together with my colleague Resse, sitting there. Resse is the technical manager of the database, and he works at the Department of Geological Sciences. So we are now going to show you a bit about what we are doing. So we are working in the area of open science. You all know that this is an ongoing movement to make scientific research available to everyone, professionals and amateurs, without any cost for the user. So it entails open access to publications, open data, and open source code. And of course, our focus is on the open data, but we also work on the code bit. So we will show you a little bit about our services. We can divide our services which are for you. We are here to help you. In our basic service and some kind of extended service. So the basic service is that we make your data findable, and we provide a DOI, which we recently implemented. We will store your data safely. We will help you to write metadata that describes your data. And by doing this, we help you to meet requirements put on you from publishers and from our university. The extended service is a little bit more than what you can find in other similar databases or data repositories. So we want to show a little bit of these other things that we also are doing. We want to highlight your research, and we can help you to visualize the data. We can help you to publish large and complex data sets, and also to help you to publish your code when you do your science. So let us have a little bit of a look of what we mean with highlighting and visualizing data. You will see lots of things flickering around now on the screen here, but the point here is not that there are colors and graphics. The point here is that we want the data to tell a story. We want to go from data to meaning. And this is more than just having a website where you can download a file with data. You can also look at the data interactively, and you can describe some things. This is a way for the Bolin Centr to show what the Bolin Centr is doing more easily than just click on a file, put it on your computer and work with it. So we can, together with you, make data more alive. And if I have time in the end of my presentation, I can show you some of these examples a little bit more in detail. So, but you can imagine that there are lots of things that can be done on your data. Quite recently, we implemented another sort of a complementary tool to the proper database, and that is a repository for source code. Those of you who work on climate model development or computer code development of any kind is perhaps familiar with the concept of Git and how to make computer code available to others, how to share it with others, and how to develop it together with others. You might have heard of something called GitHub, which is one such host. There are other possibilities. Another alternative is GitLab, and we recently installed a GitLab repository together with the Bolin Centr database. So what you see here is just an example of how it can look like. In this case, it is Python code that reads daily mean temperatures from the SMHI open database, combines it with older historical temperature data from Stockholm Astronomical Observatory, and applies corrections to the modern data, combine it with the old data to create some graphical interactive presentations, which I can show you more about later on. So this is a way to combine data with the code to tell everyone how this is done, and that is open science. And you're all welcome to use this service, and if you didn't remember the link to it, we can help you to find it. So you are all scientists, you work with your data, but together we are the Bolin Centr, and we think that by showing data from all of you. We all help each other together to promote the Bolin Centr research. So this is a way to show what actually we are doing together. And we think that we should not just highlight sort of individual data sets or individual scientists. We can highlight research groups, research topics, and thereby we can show everything that goes on in the Bolin Centr. So we would like to have all data in the database. Data from former colleagues, data from you who are working right now, and from future colleagues. And we want to communicate the information to the rest of the world to show what's going on here. We have some data. We have, in some sense, quite a lot of data, but in other ways of thinking it, there are lots of data that we don't have. And I know by experience that it takes time for scientists to prepare data and write metadata and get them in order so that they are satisfied and they dare to show it to the rest of the world. But we want you to do this, and we can help you to do it. We want more data, and then our database will be growing, and then it is easy for the Bolin Centr to show to the rest of the world what is happening here. Resse and I, we are happy to talk to you. We will be standing just outside the door here in the coffee breaks today. You can come and talk to us any other day or just send an email. But what you can do right now outside here is actually to start entering some simple metadata, the title of your data set, your own name, your email address, and then we can iteratively help you. So actually this is sort of the end of the main part of my presentation, and now I want to ask, how many minutes do I have left? Minutes. 6. Great. Okay. Then I will actually, I always used to have a mouse in my rucksack. It makes life easier sometimes. If I happen to find a USB port, yes I do. And then I would like to see if this works. It does. Yes, that looks fine. I will now go here. Does this work? No, I have to close probably. I need to shut down. Am I allowed to close PowerPoint?
Yeah. But
I will do that now.
You can either move Chrome to that screen.
Yep.
Because it's extended. Or
Yep. So what do you prefer me to do? I want to put the web browser up here.
yeah, so you can drag it. And,
Yep. Then I will not see it myself here.
oh yeah. Well, we can also, do you want to duplicate it?
Yep,
Maybe.
that's better. Yep, that's better. Hmm?
If we duplicate it.
Yep, that's good.
Let me share this so that now everyone can see.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
So, I don't want to join Zoom. Now I wonder what happened.
What do you want?
Google Chrome, the little icon disappeared here. Sorry for this mess.
Yeah.
Google Chrome was there like a minute ago. Now it disappeared. There it is. Thank you. Okay. So, and then we go here, /data/TC. Okay, and then we go here. Excellent. So, what you see here now are some examples of what we call highlighted data, what we can do with data. Some of these are already, actually one of these is published. The other ones are work in construction. So I will show you one of these work in construction things to just give you an impression of what you can do more than just having the data there. So this is the title of the data set. In this case, I am the scientist behind it. There is some short summary. There are some keywords and then comes an interactive presentation. So what you see here now is daily mean temperatures in Stockholm each day this year. The black curve is the 250-year average of all daily mean temperatures going back to 1756. The gray range that you not so easily can see is the range between the highest and lowest recorded daily mean temperature each day in those 250 years. This is for this year. You can use the mouse here to see some details. We can go back, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, or many years ago, and you can see how the temperature was like in any day in any year. This is one type of way to present the data. Then we can have links to different parts of this data set. This is a collection of data. So there are data sets with temperature, air pressure, cloud data, snow, and actually the observation hours. There is some historical background. Who did the observations? Where were they made? How did the old observations look like? And some old publications. This is just one example of telling a story of how were these data created, together with what do they show, and actually links to the data files. So this is one example. If I have like 1 more minute, I can perhaps go here, and then we do this. Oden, as you know, is an icebreaker where lots of scientific expeditions are being run on in the Arctic or Antarctic ocean waters. And over the years, there have been a number of expeditions in different places. So here is a collection of expeditions. Each expedition collects lots of data from different scientists. So under each of these expedition collections, we can click on the data types coming from this particular expedition. So there are some processed bathymetry data, there are some raw multi-beam data. In other expeditions, there are meteorological data or different kinds of data. So just think of this as a way to collect data and show them together, and thereby giving a presentation of what the Bolin Centre is doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anders. Does anyone have a quick question to Anders concerning the database? Yes. Wait a second. You get the microphone.
Just one very simple question, but a question that is always raised, and that is, do we have flags with the quality of the data and precisely showing the methods how they have been obtained?
That's, of course, a good question, and the answer to it is that in the current form, our metadata profile is rather simple, which means that there is no particular item in the metadata where this is specifically made, but there is one field which we call comments. There is another field called data description, and there you can, in free text, describe exactly what you want.
This one had a short comment as well.
Yes, I just want to add that if you contribute with data outside here where we will stand, you will receive a nice Bolin hoodie as an award. So please come and give us your data.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you both. And I think we need to continue. Next is a presentation about the Bolin Center Modeling Initiative. But where is Anna? There you are. Good.
Morning. My name is Anna Levenskal and I work as a scientific program at the Department of Meteorology. And since this autumn, Chong Zhang and we formed a new modeling coordination team at the Bolin Centr. So I would like to inform you about what resources we have. So we have computing projects if you need to use computing capacity for running models. Similar. So we have a large computing project, climate modeling at the Bolin Center for Climate Research, and we have a post-processing analysis and storage project connected to this, Mr. Bolin Center Data Intensive Compute Service. And these projects are open for everyone in the Bolin Center who is in need of this type of resources and capacity for the work. And you can contact me for more information. So what's very important, if you are a member of these projects, is that we have to acknowledge SNCC. So these projects are funded by the Research Council that funds SNCC. And this is the type of acknowledgement that they would like to see in the publications where you have work that is derived from these resources. And this is something that is very important, so I really want to stress this. Sorry for this. This is exactly how important it is. And I mean, I can't really emphasize enough how important it is, but this guy can. Important. So this is like the basic activities that we provide for the Bolin Center, but today I also would like to talk a little bit about CMIP6. For me, 2019 is really the year of CMIP6, when there's a lot of activity related to this. So if you're not familiar with CMIP6, it's a huge coordinated modeling effort. Lots of different modeling groups around the world are running their models, and in the coordinated simulations. So there's a group of core simulations that everyone has to do, and this is in order to assess the model performance and if you qualify to submit your data to this joint project. So those are the DEX simulations, and then there are the historical simulations, and in addition to that there are a lot of other model intercomparison projects that are designed to target specific questions. And the Bolin Center is contributing to, or has a huge contribution in this, primarily with as a part of the Easy Earth consortium, but also with other models from other modeling institutes. And I've tried to look also at what simulations or modeling to comparisons that the Bolin Center is participating in. This is actually quite a lot, covering quite a lot of these. And now I said that for me this is like the year of CMIP6, but this is of course a long, many years to prepare such an activity. So I talked a little bit to the people at SMHI that has been working a lot with the Easy Earth development, and so I think the first implementation of CMIP forcing was done in 2016, but then of course there was already a model version available to implement forcing in. And there's a lot of the model development, and then you have to do some adjustments and tuning, and then even more model development, going back and forth, more tuning, a lot of tuning, more development, and even more tuning. Like huge, huge effort. And then finally, around 2019, finally have some a CMIP version of the model, and running a lot of simulations. In parallel to this, there is also development of post-processing, in this case, summarization tools. So this is meant for harmonizing all the output from the model. So each model in this coordinated project will produce different kind of output. And this is a way to make the final output similar between other models or between the different models, so we can actually compare the end result. And this has also been going on in parallel with the model development. It's also a lot of work in this. So we're running a lot of simulations. Then we have to do the summarization quality checks on the data, so that the final data is actually something that is worth using, and finally publishing. So I just wanted to give you an overview of what simulations the Bolin Centr is contributing. It's RFMIP that is targeted at estimating effective radiative forcing in model for ECRF. And we're also participating in the CADA climate prediction. And this is for the basic version of ECRF. There is a low resolution version of this model also, which is running paleo simulations, different time periods of the past. Is currently running. There is a version with interactive vegetation, and SMHI has done a huge effort in this and providing the core simulations that are the necessary simulations for participating in the CMIP experiment, and historical simulations and scenarios that Klaus will talk more about later today. And this is currently being summarized, and the publication is in progress. And there's a low resolution version of this model, or this model version with the vegetation also. And in addition to this, there is also a high resolution version run at approximately 40 kilometers horizontal resolution. And it's not only ECRF that the Bolin Centr is contributing with. There are also activities with the MPI ESM for the CFMIP cloud feedback modeling to comparison project, and the DFDL model also for paleo simulations. So now we're sitting on a lot of raw model outputs. The process of summarization and quality check is in place, and the access point for you in the end will be on the ESGF data node. This is the place where all the CMIP data is stored, where you can go and download. But the results will also, or for ECRF at least, data will be available on Tetralite, on a storage mounted on Tetralite. So if you have questions about the ECRF data, please contact people at SMHI, and you're welcome to contact me. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to send me an email, and I will also be standing outside here at the table. And yeah, if you have questions and want to know more details about this or any other modeling related question, please come by. Thank you very much.
We do have time for one question, but I think in the interest of time we should swap these microphones to the next speaker, because this is
I'm happy to answer questions outside.
Yeah, but you can answer in this microphone also. So if you can start, if Elizabeth is coming up, preparing for the next. Is there a question for the modeling part? Yes, you will get the microphone. Just wait until you have it.
I'm just curious, since many of the CMIP6 models have a quite high climate sensitivity, higher than CMIP5. What's the status with the ECF?
So I think this is maybe more a question for the people who are analyzing the data. So I don't have a question or an answer to this, unfortunately. I haven't really analyzed the output.
Maybe the answer is over here? Yes, okay. You get the microphone?
Yes, so the climate sensitivity in the ECRF configuration that we are using with the interactive vegetation has increased to 4.2. So in the CMIP5 version it was 3.1. 4.3 and now it's 4.2. So it has increased. It is not as dramatic as for many other models, but it is higher. And when I was at a meeting a month ago when a number of these models were compared against each other, so we seem to be in the middle of back with 4.2. But yes, it is higher and it is a sign of concern, and we still don't understand really why this has happened.
Thank you very much. I would like to move on with the next presentation. Thank you, Anna, again. And the next presentation is by Elisabeth Decker about the climate arena.
Yes, thank you. Just with some water. So I'm Elisabeth Decker, and I will talk about the Bolin Centr Climate Arena, which I am one of the coordinators for, together with David and Hjalmar, sitting in the audience, and they are from the section of external relations, also here at Stockholm University. And what is the Bolin Centr Climate Arena? It's a meeting place for scientists and external partners. And the aim is to facilitate collaboration, knowledge, ideas and experience, and to increase society's resilience to climate change together. And we have arranged these meetings place in forms of workshops, where we have started up with some presentation, both from internal and external participants, and ended up with group discussions together. And it had been a great meeting place. Our partners is big companies as Max Burgers and Ericsson, governments as Region Stockholm and Naturvårdsverket, and we also have small organizations and companies as Snowflake Education and Sea Rooms. So the workshops. We had our first big workshop in March, and we started up with a broad theme, and the theme was carbon neutrality. And the main question was, what do we need from each other? Okay, the outcome of that one was the following up on a second workshop on carbon neutrality, and the discussion was focus areas and concrete issues. And following up from that will be the next one, will be held now in December, and the theme will be calculation organizations carbon footprints. And the following up will be the next coming one, and the following up question will be decided during the workshop 3. And after that, we will also decide upcoming themes together in the arena, and it could be maybe food or biodiversity or etc. And the climate arena is a part of a Vinnova financed project, and the financing will last for 1 more year. But after that, the climate arena will be a part of the Bolin Centr. So if you're interested, you're so welcome to join. It's a great meeting place. Or if you have any external partners that you think can be interested to be a part of the arena, you're welcome to contact me. Me, David, and Hjalmar will be around during the Bolin Days. We will be out at the table during the breaks and so on. So you're more than welcome to contact us and ask questions. Or you can also send me a mail.
you very much, Elisabeth. Do we have questions or comments for the climate arena? No? Alistair.
The climate arena's attracted lots and lots of organizations really, really quickly. To me, it's almost surprising how popular it is. My question is, why do you think the interest is so high from stakeholders and society to come here?
They want contact with the researcher, and they want the knowledge, and they want the expertise, and taking part of the research. They want to have these as example when they go out and talk, and they want expertise. Yeah.
Yes, there's one more question. Would you mind swapping with Malin? So, thank you.
Just important follow-up on the previous question. Have you seen any signs that some of those partners are using this as a way of greenwashing their own activity?
We have, of course, had the question of greenwashing as a discussion part. No, I think the participants, you saw the Preem was there as well, they are there because they're genuinely interested in these questions, and they want to be a part of it.
Can I maybe add to that? One of the key reasons why the next theme is the themes are decided by the participants. It's one of the key parts of the climate arena. But the next theme is how you're calculating carbon footprint and compensation, because different companies are using what we call scope 1, 2, and 3 methods for calculating their footprint, and those aren't fair comparisons, because the scope 3 compares all of your carbon footprint, whereas the scope 2 is just looking locally at your business. So the different companies are publishing different numbers. So combating greenwashing is one of the primary aims of the climate arena.
Thank you very much, Alistair, for adding that. Thank you again, Elisabeth. And we move on to the mentoring program, and Malin Schilander will tell us more.
So you know these mics are not designed for anyone with hair, if you're giving a talk later. So I'm here representing the Bolin Centr mentoring system, which is a program who's run by myself and Agatha de Boer, who may or may not be here, may not. But you will surely see Agatha somewhere during the Bolin Days. And essentially, it's a system where we pair up junior scientists with senior scientists. And in this context, a junior scientist is anybody from PhD up to lecturer, and maybe even a few professors who feel like they need a little bit of extra support from somebody. And the way the program works is that it's mentee-driven. That means we don't enforce any strict templates for how your relationship should work, because each person is different and has different needs. So in that way, it's a pretty flexible program. What we try to do is we try and match mentors and mentees across departments to avoid any conflict of interest. And the program operates yearly. So you're paired up from Bolin Days to the next Bolin Days. So Bolin Days is our new year for the program. And at the end of that year, you can either choose to stay with your mentor, you can ask for a new mentor, or you can leave the program. The program is voluntary. So as a mentee, a lot of mentees sometimes feel like they're, nagging their mentors for time, but these people signed up for the program and they're willing to give you a couple hours a month. So don't feel bad about asking. And the program is also confidential. So that means that if you have anything sensitive, it's going to stay within your conversation that you've had with your mentor. People have lots of different reasons for having a mentor. Some people just want to be able to unload about things that are going on in their career. Some people want to test their ideas, or they want help finding different opportunities that they might not necessarily have the resources to find. Some people want somebody who can actually help them develop a skill set. Some people want a scientific resource, trying to get into a new discipline, for instance. And some people just need encouragement. I wrote that to be encouragement, that they might not necessarily be getting from their supervisor. And we all need an extra hand up every now and then. So the process for mentees is that you sign up online. So if you go onto the Bolin website, you'll find a link for the mentoring system, and then there's a form that you fill out. And you're allowed to give your wish list. And the idea is that we're going to match you from our pool of mentors to try and fill your wish list. That wish list could be a certain discipline, a certain language, familiarity with funding systems in certain countries. It could be gender, it could be the kind of food you like, it could be anything, but we'll try and match it. And then once we give you your pairing, it's up to the mentee to contact the mentor. And then at that first meeting, you guys can decide the format of your relationship. Some people want to have very structured, so they make a sort of career development plan that you might discuss every time you meet. Other people just want to have a chat. It's up to the mentee to decide. And typically people are meeting once a month up to once every 3 months. So it's not really that much. It's not a burden for the mentors because I mean, we all need to eat lunch, and that we can do with a mentee who needs us. And as I said, the pairs are made for a year period. The process for mentors, please sign up. We really need you. Why would you want to sign up? Well, you've probably all had somebody in your career who's helped you out along the way. It's your time to help out. And oh, that went very quickly. Yeah, and I said it's voluntary, but I will find you if I need to. So the success of the program since we started in 2014, we started off with 9 pairs. We're now up to 31 pairs, and we're really proud of that. And the feedback we've been getting has been really, really nice, so it makes us more than happy to keep this program running. Some people get perspective from somebody outside of the project, which can be really important. Other people have found it's a way to keep them focused on what they need to do. And this is email I got just this year, which I think is a really great example of a success story. Somebody was able to sort of take charge of their project, and then because of the advice from the mentor, were able to sort of think a couple steps ahead and now have a postdoc lined up for when they're done with their PhD. So if you would like to sign up as a mentor or a mentee, you just click on this button and you will find the form to fill out. If you would like to be both a mentee and a mentor, you have to do the form twice. And if you have any questions, you can either email myself or Ahata, or just pull us aside sometime during the Bolin Days. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marlin. A comment or a question for Marlin and the mentoring program? Yes.
Have you had an excess of mentors versus mentees? Have you been able to pair everyone who's joined?
Yeah, we've been able to pair everybody. We do have a bit of a problem, particularly in the gender aspect. We have a lot of requests for senior females. So I'm looking at you, senior females. That's the one demographic we have a harder time to fill, but everybody gets a mentor. We make sure that you get a mentor, so you will not be denied if you sign up.
Do you have happy stories only, or do you have divorces also?
Well, the good thing, it's the only year-long relationship, so if it doesn't work out, no, but on the whole, the feedback has been really, really good, so that's why we're happy to carry on. But we also, I mean, people have mentors that they find outside of the program as well, so we're just facilitating that. So if you are in need of a mentor, we can help you find somebody.
Any more comments? No? Then thank you much. Thank you very much again, Marlin. We move on to the Climate Research School, and Alistair is presenting that one. You also have some here, so, but Marlin knows how to do it now.
God, I'm not very good at this. We used to have a different one. I'm good now. Okay. Okay, good. I think. I'm not good, am I? Yeah. Sorry, I'm actually the most technically useless here.
I think it just needs to be stretched.
Oh, hey. All right. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. And I control this with these buttons, yeah. Okay. So I'm going to take the last session before you go out to get some coffee, and then we start the science presentations after. I'm going to talk to you about the Climate Research School. I want to put the Climate Research School in some perspective. This is the timeline for the Bolin Centre for Climate Research. From its beginnings as an idea, just among a few individuals, to bring a handful of departments at Stockholm University together who are working on the big question of climate. One of the absolute very first initiative within what became the Bolin Centre was to apply to the Faculty of Science for money to set up a research school. And this research school is going to be on climate. And that was actually granted in 2005. Now that research school just was a handful of PhD students, partly funded by the Faculty of Science and partly funded by the departments. And from that climate research school came the momentum and the energy to apply for a Linnaeus grant, one of these huge 12-year grants, which led to the recruitment of people and led to the Bolin Centre as we know it today. Within that consortium, an application for strategic research area money, which allowed the Bolin Centre to really take on the challenge of climate modelling. And throughout subsequent evaluations and assessment, the Climate Research School has always been flagged externally as a super important part of what the Bolin Centre does. So in many aspects, the Bolin Centre came from the Climate Research School, so it's very much at our core. So the Climate Research School, what is it? Now, over its 15 years of existence, there have been over 300 PhD students who have been a part of that school. I'm not saying there are 300 today. Many of those PhD students have graduated. In fact, all of them at the beginning, I certainly hope. The Bolin Centre, the research schools, I see it's the starting point of the Bolin Centre, but it's also at our core because PhD training is at the core of research. This is where new scientists are born, and it is the future of the Bolin Centre. And this is the next generation of scientists who are going to go out and take on the enormous challenges facing our society today. So what do we aim to do at the research school? We partake in training a new generation of researchers ready to provide society with much needed expertise on climate, and I think we can all see that expertise is much needed today. We offer courses relevant for PhD students working on climate, and we provide a community for PhD students working within climate. But above all, the Climate Research School makes the Bolin Centres stronger. The Climate Research School, I very much feel I'm standing on the head of giants in terms of now the directorship of the Climate Research School has now become part of the central directorate for the Bolin Centre. And the Climate Research School is the product of an enormous amount of work of Bjorn Gunnarsson primarily over many, many years, who's kept this going on with a lot of support from a number of other scientists, Hasse Hansen and Rodrigo, among others. And one of the things that what we offer today is built on what these people generated for us. Of course, we have PhD courses. We have a network for financial support, which I'll come into in a second. We don't provide the mentoring program, but we, as a member of the research school, we encourage you to participate in the mentoring program. And of course, communication between PhD students. The tradition that we have not had this summer, but will again have next summer, is to have a summer school. in some place where we can learn about climate, often but not always with a field focus. This year, for the first time, we launched a PhD day. That was extremely popular. PhD students came and presented their research for each other, and it was a nice occasion. Our courses are overarching courses on climate for aimed from all or most PhD students. There's been a course called Historical Perspectives run over many years. We're looking at that course and running it again next year and widening it widening that course to include a stronger focus from the biological sciences and the humanities. Skills courses, which every PhD student needs: how to write papers, communicate science, programming, statistics, presentation skills. And also we support specialist courses for PhD students working in specific areas. We take courses, we have a board, we take course suggestions from anybody. Anyone can send in a course suggestion to us, either as I wish there was a course on, or I'd like to give a course on. The financial support we offer is for conference participation. That's active conference participation. That is, you go to a conference and you give a poster or a talk. Not so much for just going there, but for participating. For attending a course that's maybe not here. We give a fixed amount or less if you don't need more money. In most cases, we give 5,000 krona contribution, but any students opting to travel to European events by rail will cover every single part of the cost of your trip, including your accommodation and everything, whatever that total comes to. This year, we've had about 40 awards for students already. So our summer schools, they've tended to have overarching themes. It's very difficult to define overarching in an organization as large as the Bolin Centre. Anything I put up here, some people will think that's got nothing to do with me. But we do our best. Arctic climate, isotopes have been key topics that we've tried to bring in various disciplines. They have been almost always field-based. Abisko has been our main location up in the north of Sweden. We have tried one attempt to go to the island of Isle off the west coast of Scotland. I'm not sure we're going back. They're held annually or biannually. And as I say, with CRS also supports, but it does not host specialist workshops or summer schools which benefit some of its members. So for specific topics, sometimes a researcher will say, can we go in and co-fund this event somewhere else? We're happy to do that within our budget constraints. It's led by a working committee, and that's with the Bolin Centre Directorate, representatives from the host departments within the Bolin Centre. That's super important because the Bolin Centre is not an employer. Every PhD student has a home department. There are, of course, the student representatives, and I use the word external and don't even like the word anymore for external representatives, that we have support from the Stockholm Environmental Institute and the Stockholm Resilience Centre. These organisations are becoming closer and closer together, and we maybe don't need to use the word external so much longer. But it's super important with both SEI and SRC are in there helping us and guiding us forward. We're funded again by the same grant that funds the Bolin Centre, the Strategic Research Area Funds that have been allocated to Stockholm University, and those funds are used to finance a study coordinator who is supported by the directors of studies at the host departments. We have advertised for that position. That position is not filled, but there are interviews going on, and we will soon have a study coordinator in place. And that person will follow on from the long, hard work of Bjorn Gunnarsson. Research school activities, of course, that's where most of our funds are used for. Thank you very much. I can keep it on.
Thank you very much, Alistair. You can keep it on, yes. Is there any question or a comment? I can say that the interviews are next week, actually, for the study coordinator for the Climate Research School. Yes.
Do you provide any links between the Climate Research School and the other divisions that you've just had representatives from, like the Modeling Center and the Climate Arena? Opportunities for PhD students to engage with those other parts of the Bolin Center?
Oh yeah, no, I can't talk straight away. I was waiting for the mic. We do not specifically, that goes through the Bolin Centre itself, because the Climate Research School is very much a part of the Bolin Centre. It actually was originally to some extent separate and then became very much a part. So our PhD students have access to all of the facilities, the Bolin Centre, through the Bolin Centre Centre. However, we do make a specific effort to try and encourage the mentoring programme.
If I can add, one option that we had this year was at the PhD day. The PhD students expressed the wish to have someone doing communication. So we had an external, a real external, talking about communication. And this could be a way to facilitate this interaction as well, for instance, at the PhD day. Great.
Yeah, there used to be a climate modeling intensive short course. It was mostly held at MISU for 1 week, and then I think a second week which focused on using GCM. So I'm confused about whether that course is part of the Bolin Climate School, or was that something separate that MISU did? Because it seemed like it was very valuable, especially if it had greater participation from institutions outside of Stockholm University. But what is the relationship of that, if any, to Bolin, to the Climate School?
That and many of our courses are actually often have a double purpose. So, for example, MISU will be giving a course that also is encouraged, open to the Climate Research School, and is also one of their own courses, or another department might be doing the same thing. We've been talking with our research area leaders within SMHI about a course looking at making modelling more, giving the non-modelers in the Bolin Centre the ground understanding of modelling, not so that they can do their own modelling, but they can understand the papers better. I think that's going to be a super important thing, because we do still have quite a division in knowledge between modelers, people who understand models, and people maybe who understand them less well, to be saying a nice gentle Swedish way. But we want to kind of even that field a little bit, so that we're all really understanding what climate models are and what they do, and what CMIP6 stands for, and all these sort of things that are tricky outside that field.
If I can add, I mean, the most important thing is to make these courses accessible. It's not so much who's actually behind it. It comes down to who's behind it when we have to pay, basically. But I mean, we also have the cooperation with Emerge in Lund to have a research school, and we're now investigating possibilities so that we can join forces, because we don't have to invent courses twice. So we can just share and explore and make it accessible for more students than those that are clustered here. Last question before coffee.
Do you also give courses on research data management and research ethics as part of the program?
Research data management is not something we have given a course on, to the best of my knowledge, in the past. Or am I incorrect, Bjorn? We have not done so. I'm correct. Research ethics is actually an obligatory part of every research training program at Stockholm University, and we do support that. You have to do 3 credits of ethics to get a PhD now.
Okay. I think we thank everyone in this early morning session, and then we head out for coffee. Back at 10:30, but not this clock. Use your own.